The digestive pathway is the pathway food travels for it to be digested and absorbed. The order of the pathway is the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and anus. Digestion of food begins right when you put it in your mouth. As you chew your food with your teeth, mechanical digestion occurs as food is broken down into smaller chunks. In addition, chemical digestion occurs as your saliva contains salivary amylase and lipase that hydrolyze carbohydrates and lipids. Since the mouth only contains amylases and lipases, only carbohydrates and lipids are chemically digested in the mouth. Next, your food travels down the esophagus, which is a muscular tube that connects the mouth to the stomach. No digestion occurs here, it's pretty much just a pathway from the mouth to the stomach. Once your food reaches your stomach, mechanical digestion occurs as peristalsis, in other words, muscle contractions of smooth muscle propels food forward. In addition, chemical digestion occurs as pepsin, a protease, hydrolyzes proteins. Since the stomach only contains pepsin, which is a protease, only proteins are chemically digested in the stomach. Next, food travels from the stomach to the small intestine. There are three parts of the small intestine. In order they include the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Here, we will focus on the first part of the small intestine, which is the duodenum. The duodenum is primarily involved in digestion. You can kind of imagine the duodenum as a dumping site, where a bunch of accessory organs dump their enzymes and fluids. First, we will focus on the liver. The liver is a large organ with many diverse functions. One of its functions is to synthesize bile. However, the liver only synthesizes bile, it does not store it. The gallbladder is responsible for storing bile and then secreting it into the duodenum. Bile emulsifies lipids. When something is emulsified, it is broken down from large droplets to smaller droplets. Therefore, bile aids in mechanical digestion, not chemical digestion. Why do lipids need to be emulsified? Lipids are largely hydrophobic, but lipase is hydrophilic. That means lipids and lipase don't mix. It would be like trying to mix oil and water. However, bile is a salt that has both hydrophilic and hydrophobic regions. Therefore, bile acts as a bridge and allows for lipase to interact with lipids. Lastly, the pancreas secretes all three major types of enzymes: proteases, amylases, and lipases, which chemically digest proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids, respectively. Now, we will focus on the next two parts of the small intestine, which include the jejunum and ileum. In contrast to the duodenum, which is primarily involved in digestion, the jejunum and ileum are primarily involved in the absorption of food. In the jejunum and ileum, digested food can now enter the small intestine and be directly absorbed into the bloodstream. After nutrient absorption in the small intestine, food passes through the large intestine, which is primarily involved in water absorption. Although the large intestine is shorter than the small intestine in terms of length, it is wider in size, hence the name large intestine. Lastly, waste is expelled by the anus. Anything that was not absorbed by the body is eliminated.